Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Anam Irfan and I'm from 5th semester Electrical Engineering Department. I'm currently enrolled in SRWE and Python Essentials 1. Also, I've completed CCNA ITN B7. Basically, I had the privilege to do internship at Cisco Academy in summers, and there I learned a lot about signal processing and how much importance it has in our field. So today I'm here to discuss this lab report that is related to DSP and Matlab, and I'll be explaining these instructions to the students of 5th semester DCSE. So the first part A is basically related to if you type doc in the command window of Matlab, you'll see that here we have this window of MATLAB documentation. So basically अगर आपको कोई help चाहिए या आपको कोई MATLAB के बारे में you're a beginner and you want to learn more, you want to get started, so you can click this link or you can um, click any link जिसकी आपको मदद चाहिए. और in the B part वो क्या अगर किसी कमांड में इशू है, इफ यू वांट टू learn more about any command, कोई confusion है, so what will you write? Help when, for example, I want to learn more about the command plot or column or zeros, so help when and plot ये command run होगी and I'll this window right here. So इसमें मुझे सारी information है. I can learn anything about plotting in MATLAB from just writing this one command. Part C, demo. They're asking us to type demo, and by writing demo, we can explore a variety of basic MATLAB commands and plots. As you can see here, creating 2D plots, introduction to live editor, or any other area you want to explore more. Part D is they're asking us to use MATLAB as a calculator. I think this is pretty easy. If you want to do simple calculations using MATLAB, like for example, I want to subtract the square of pi with 10, the answer is minus 0.13. So this is a simple calculator. MATLAB is also a calculator, we can say. And if you don't assign the answer to any variable, since I've not assigned any variable, so the default variable for any answer in MATLAB is ANS. Now, in E part, they're asking us to assign a variable to the calculation we're performing. For example, x is equal to sine pi by 5. So I'm basically assigning the value of this. This answer will be stored in the variable x right here. X is equal to 0.587. And this variable will be shown in the workspace right here. If I type x, I'll get the value x 0.578. Similarly, cos pi by 5, y is equal to square root this and this. Okay. Like natural numbers or whole numbers, we can also use complex numbers in MATLAB, and we can perform the basic operations. Basic operations are supported in MATLAB. As you can see here, if I zoom this up, here they're assigning, they're using this complex number 3 plus 4 iota stored in Z and minus 3 plus 4 J stored in W. Now this command real will basically display the real part of Z. And here 3 is the real part of Z. So we can check if it actually works. Real, sorry, Z is equal to 3 plus 4i. Okay. Now um Z is equal to real Z. It will show the real part. Similarly, for the imaginary part, you type Z. Same will go for the W variable. If I want to find the absolute of Z and W, then obviously command abs function is used. It calculates the absolute value. Absolute value is basically the magnitude and of this complex numbers. So ABS and it will be Z comma W. I've not, okay. If I will not define any variable, obviously it will show an error. I've not defined W, so I will 3 plus 4. Okay. ABS Z comma W. 5 and 5 because this is the magnitude. As we know, we find it mathematically by adding the squares of the real part and under root. So from that we will find the magnitude. Then obviously for finding the conjugate, you have this CONJ for conjugate, which will conjugate basically changes the sign of the imaginary part. Then angle, exponential value, exponential. This, for example, in this, this J is multiplied by every element of the array. It will be multiplied like this, like this. Okay. Now in this 2.1 part, they're explaining us the use of colon in Matlab. This colon right here is really important in Matlab. For example, I type this command right here, colon 6. Now what will happen? I'm basically generating an array from 0 to 6. So this colon will basically, it basically specifies the range, and from the first element to the last element. So it will generate an array from 0 to 6. Now, in um, the second command basically is creating a vector jk1 starting from 2 and incrementing by 4 until it reaches 17 or less. So jk1 will be jk1 is equal to 2 colon 4 colon 17. 4 right here is basically the step size. As you can see, 2 plus 4, 6, 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 4, 14. And 14 plus 4 is 18, which is greater than 17 and which is out of our range, so it is not displayed here. After this, we have this command where there's a vector jk1, and this will start from 99 and it will be decremented by 1 since there is a minus sign till 88. Now here there's a vector t with we are creating a vector and it is starting from 2 and incrementing by 1 by 9 until it reaches 4 or less. So the step size is basically 1 by 9. In this TPI, we are creating TPI a vector by multiplying each element of the vector with the value of pi. So TPI will be an array जिसमें pi is multiplied with with an array starting from 0 to 2 with a step size of 0.1. Okay. Extracting or inserting basically in this B part हम कोई भी हमें अगर array है उसमें से कोई chunk extract करना हो या insert करना हो तो we can do that too in MATLAB. किस तरह? For example, we have this line of code right here. X is equal to zeros. Zeros 1,3 का क्या मतलब है कि हमारे पास क्या होगा हमारे पास 3 0 बनेंगे. Since we should know that unlike Python, the numbering start in MATLAB start from 1 onward, not from 0. So the first index is index 1. So zeros 1,3 basically will result in 0 0 0. Then we have line space 0 1 5. It will generate a vector of 5 values between 0 and 1. Since um, this line space command is used for this purpose. Then we have ones. It will create a vector with 4 ones from 1 to 4. Okay. So this command right here will extract the elements from the index position 4 to 6 from this vector. For example, if I run this code in MATLAB command window, I'll be getting this vector, and now I want to extract the values from index 4 to index 6. So I will type xx4 colon 6, which is 0, 0.2500, and 0.5500. Okay. Then obviously if you want to um in order to um know the dimensions of any vector or size, you will use this function size and it will return the dimensions of the matrix. For example, in this case we have 10 entries. It will basically, it is a row vector with 10 entries. So basically it is a 1 cross 10 matrix with 1 row and 10 columns. So this is the dimension. If you want to know the size, we'll simply type size xx. Okay, it is 1 and 12, which means 1 row and 12 columns. Okay. Then we have length xx, length. It basically tells us about the number of elements, which are 12. It is obvious. Now this command, xx to length. Okay, so I've written something about this command right here. This part basically will create an index that ranges from 2 to the length of the vector, which is 12 in this case. So it will start from the second index and it will end up at the 12th index with an increment of 2, as we've done this before. This command will give, I think, the same output since the length or the end means the same. The end will also be the last index, and the length will also be the last index, which is 12 in both scenarios. Okay. In this question, in this assignment, they're basically asking us to replace the even indexed elements, that is this and this, with the constant pi raised to power pi. So what we'll do is we will use the same code, which is this, because as you can see, since the elements they're incremented by 2, so the output will only contain the even number. So they're asking us to replace these even number by pi raised to power pi. So if I copy this code, and they're asking us to replace this by pi, I will simply put this equal to sign and pi raised to power pi. Okay. Um, Now coming towards the part 2.2. Acha, one important thing in Matlab. Ab jis tarah, in some cases, I don't want this output to be displayed. I don't want कि ये output display हो, बस ये इस variable में store हो जाए, ये display ना हो. So what will I do is I will simply put a semicolon at the end of the command I'm typing. And also this is a comment. In Matlab, comments are used to provide explanations or documentation within your code, and they're ignored by the interpreter of the Matlab. So this is something important. And adding a semicolon at the end of a statement basically suppresses the display of the result on the screen. So it is basically important if you want to avoid any cluttering in the command window with unnecessary output, and if you don't want to see the result. So you'll put a semicolon like this. If I run this command again, if I run this command again, and I put a semicolon, no result will be showed because I don't want any output. That's why I'm putting this semicolon here. Okay, in the B part, they're asking us to write a code. They provided us a code that has a for loop in it. They're also saying that in MATLAB, this is not the most efficient way to get things done, but we should know how to use a for loop. So in this code, they're basically initializing yy with an empty array. Now they're using for k is equal to -5 colon 5. So basically, k is a variable that has an array that is stored with a range of -5 to 5, which means -5, -4, -3, -2, and so on till 5. Now, k plus 6 is equal to cos k steric pi divided by 3, and that's it. The question is that why is it necessary to put write k plus 6? What happens if you use k instead? This should be kept in mind that in MATLAB, the indexing starts from 1. So if I put k, this means I'm accessing the -5 index, which is not even available in the index range in MATLAB. So it will cause an index error. So it will cause an index error, and that's why we cannot access -5 directly. So we are adding 6 in it, which will result in yy minus 5 plus 6, which is yy1, and it will access the first index place of the array. Okay, coming towards the plotting in Matlab, um, for both real and complex numbers. I have an array which is, I have this vector x, and okay, now this basically computes, this line of code computes a vector y by doing element-wise operation. So what will happen is that this every for example, in this case, we have x is equal to this. Now we are multiplying x with x by using this dot steric, which is known as element-wise operation. So इसमें ये होगा कि every element of x will be multiplied to the every element of x, यानी कि first index पर जो element है, it will be multiplied with the first index वाला element of x. So in this case, since we are multiplying x with x, तो हम simply ये भी कह सकते हैं कि हम इसको x के वेक्टर को स्क्वायर करें, क्योंकि -3 से मल्टीप्लाई होगा, -1 मल्टीप्लाइड विथ -1, सो हमारे पास स्क्वायर आ जाएगी. एंड देन वी आर सब्ट्रैक्टिंग दिस वेक्टर array with 3 steric x. So इसको हम ये आ गया, और फिर उसके बाद अब मुझे रिजल्ट देखना है, मुझे देखना है कि मेरा जो वो है रिजल्ट क्या बनता है, क्या मैंने ठीक वो किया, तो बिल्कुल ठीक किया. अगर हम इसको कैलकुलेशन करें तो 3 3 9, एंड ये 3 मल्टीप्लाई बाई ये हो जाएगा, तो ये 9 + 9 18 हो जाएगा. इसी तरह ये सारा मेरे पास बिल्कुल ठीक रो वेक्टर है. एंड ऑब्वियसली अगर आपने कोई इमेजिनरी नंबर को प्लॉट करना है तो आप उसको भी कर सकते हैं. यहाँ पर इन्होंने स्क्वायर रूट -1 लिया हुआ है. स्क्वायर रूट -1 हमें पता है किसके इक्विवेलेंट है, आयोटा के इक्विवेलेंट है. तो इन्होंने क्या किया है कि एक इमेजिनरी नंबर ले लिया और फिर उसको उन्होंने कहा है कि इसको प्लॉट करके दिखाएं. अगर you have any problem with any operation, जिस तरह ये भी element wise multiplication थी, addition थी, जो भी थी, तो you can use help with आगे arith. तो arithmetic से तो आपके पास आप किसी के भी बारे में कमांड के बारे में यहाँ से फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं. अब they're asking us to close this command window. आप एडिटर में जाएंगे, मैटलैब ओपन करेंगे तो सामने एडिटर आएगा. एक न्यू स्क्रिप्ट ओपन करें और उस न्यू स्क्रिप्ट के अंदर आपने उसको सेव कर दें mylab.mylab1 के नाम से. ओके, अब इसमें हमारे पास ओके इसमें भी एक लाइन ऑफ कोड है, वो हमें समझा रहे हैं. ये मैं पूरा का पूरा कॉपी करती हूँ और इसको मैं इधर अपने स्क्रिप्ट पे पेस्ट कर देती हूँ. अब ये जब रेड रेड आएगा तो मुझे समझ आ जाएगी कि मेरे कोड में कहीं ना कहीं एरर है. एज यू कैन सी हियर, यहाँ पर इसके जो कॉमर्स है वो गलत है, हमें सिंगल कोटेशन मार्क डालना होता है. मैं अभी कोड भी एक्सप्लेन करती हूँ. ओके, तो uh, ये दिस लाइन इज जनरेटिंग अवर टाइम वेक्टर, जो कि -1 से लेके 1 तक जाएगा विद स्टेप साइज ऑफ 0.01. फिर उसके बाद ये भी मेरा एक वेक्टर है, जो कि हम बेसिकली सिग्नल को कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं. और ये हमारे पास इसकी जो फ्रिक्वेंसी वो है हमारे पास 5 हर्ट्ज. और हम इसको अभी आगे जाकर प्लॉट करेंगे. फिर उसके बाद यहाँ पर मैं इसको प्लॉट करूँगी. और इसमें एक चीज का ये है कि ये जो प्लॉटिंग होगी, ये वाली फर्स्ट वाली एक्स एक्स वर्सेस टी टी होगी, और इसकी प्लॉटिंग ब्लू कलर के ये डैशेस से प्लॉट होगा, इसलिए यहाँ पे बी और आगे डैश लिखा हुआ है जो मार्कर आप यूज करेंगे। और फिर यहाँ पर टी टी और जो रियल पार्ट है जेड जेड का, उससे ये हम लोग प्लॉट करेंगे, और ये रेड कलर के मार्कर से होगा और ये डबल डैश से होगा। ग्रिड ऑन का क्या मतलब है कि जो प्लॉट आप करेंगे उसके ऊपर एक ग्रिड भी डिस्प्ले होगी, अभी हम जब इसको रन करेंगे तो हमें वो पता चल जाएगा, जिसकी वजह से आप विजुलाइज इजीली कर सकते हैं। फिर टाइटल आपका क्या होगा, आपके प्लॉट का टाइटल एज यू कैन सी है, इट इज टाइटल प्लॉट ऑफ अ साइनसॉइड। एंड एक्स लेबल, वाई लेबल भी होता है। वाई लेबल अगर आपने यहाँ पर कुछ राइट करना हो तो वाई लेबल लिखेंगे, एक्स लेबल के लिए इधर ये डिस्प्ले कर देंगे, तो ये हमारा प्लॉट डिस्प्ले हो जाएगा। के नीचे कुछ क्वेश्चंस दिए हुए हैं। द लास्ट एक्सरसाइज इज मैटलैब सम। अगर आपने कोई, हम लोग यहाँ पर कमांड विंडो पर लिखते हैं एक्सपी साउंड, एक्सपी साउंड, हम ये साउंड वेव, अब इसमें आप बेसिकली ये यहाँ पर उसका क्या पर्पस बता रहे हैं कि आप लोगों ने अगर कोई प्लॉटिंग करनी है, या आपने यहाँ पर नीचे उन्होंने एक प्रॉब्लम भी प्रोवाइड किया हुआ है, जो कि हमारी जो ऊपर हमने सारी वो पढ़ी है उनसे ही रिलेटेड है। इसमें बेसिकली वो हमें एक वेक्टर का कह रहे हैं, जो कि हमें उन्होंने सैम्पलिंग रेट दे दिया है, उन्होंने कोड भी प्रोवाइड कर दिया है, तो आपने इनके कुछ क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स देने होंगे। और जो बेसिक इंस्ट्रक्शंस थी, माय पर्पस एंड माय area was to explain the instructions, the basic instructions in MATLAB, and I hope I was clear. And this is it. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.